just kind of taking things into perspective, how things have changed for all of us on the planet since since this pandemic has started. I feel like first and foremost, I feel like people do have that extra time with their families and loved ones, and are more wary of their families and loved ones, because I feel like the hustle bustle lifestyle that we get caught up in prevents us sometimes from spending that quality time with our families. And I don't necessarily mean like in person. Like even like now, I feel like people are communicating with their parents more like on FaceTime, on phone calls. Whereas like, before they'd be too busy for it, and I feel like that bonding that has occurred with families and when people that are close to each other, I feel like in ways has brought us close together too, which is one of the very good things that has come about since this pandemic has started. Now, obviously, the bad being we're not able to go and, earn and do those things that we used to be doing. Like concerts are down, Ghostface and a lot of these guys, they'd hit me up and be like, yo, what's up with the concerts? Because I was on tour with Wu-Tang all last year. Like we were on the road and I feel like that's the way that most musicians are, they earn their money. I mean, you got your Spotify's and iTunes and stuff, but I feel like the majority of income for musicians is coming from performances and concerts and merch, and specifically, selling merch at those concerts. So when you take that out of the equation, it becomes very difficult for artists, for entrepreneurs, for businessmen, and for people who aren't able to flourish as well. But I feel like as the human race, like we evolve fast and we figure out things fast. Like just what we're doing right now. Like I done so many interviews right from my bedroom, bro, and like. And that's a phenomenal process right there. Like you can be on so many different platforms and talk to so many people, but you're just doing it right from home. I'm like, dog, that just saved me all my travel expense. That just saved me getting a hotel room. That just saved me having to take time off of my work schedule. Now I can still carry out these interviews and talk to the people without actually making traveling plans and all that other stuff. So I think that's dope, man, from that standpoint. But I do miss being in a studio and doing freestyles and being live in a setting. That aspect of it is, just everything just so official. Right now, it's just like everybody FaceTime and things like that. But yeah, the experience for me, it's been different, I think, than the other people, because I'm a doctor, so I work in the hospital and I treat COVID-19, so I have a different perspective, and we could talk more about that. Yeah, it's been devastating. It's been heartbreaking. I mean, sometimes I get emotional about it. It's just when this all hit me in March. I've been practicing hospitalist, since for 7 years. Of a hospitalist, I mean like internal medicine. So I'm working in a hospital. Patients come in from the ER. I admit them and I take care of them while they're on the hospital floors until they're discharged. Now, when this hit us in March, it just, that was the time where I didn't know how severe or serious it was, because I think no matter, until you actually have a personal experience with something, there's always skepticism that goes in. We hear so much stuff on the news every day. I mean, from everything. But until it actually personally affects our lives, it's very difficult for us to take it serious enough. And I feel like when I got hit with my first COVID-19 patients in March, that's when I knew how serious this was. And when I actually seen patients of mine that were dying from it. It definitely, like, it was fear. At first, March and April, it was a lot of fear. I had to conquer a lot of fear for myself, because I was working overtime, still working overtime, working extra shifts in the hospital, having to see people who look like me, who are healthy like me. I hope to not sound bragging, but like I don't have medical conditions like that. And there's people that would come into the hospital completely medical condition free. They get COVID, and I've actually seen a lot of them pass away and having to deal with their family members. I've lost 30 patients in front of my eyes to COVID since March. So that's been a very painful experience, man. And but I've been doing my part to tell the people about my experiences and encourage everybody to carry safety practices. For me, hip hop has always been a coping mechanism for me. Back when 2001, when 9/11 happened and everybody was throwing rocks at me, calling me a terrorist, that was the only thing I had to defend myself against hate crimes I was getting at the time. So from the get-go, and that's around the time when I started rapping. So, I used hip hop initially in my life as a means of coping, as a means of therapy, as a means of fighting back, striking back against hate. So that being the basis for what hip hop was for me at the start is what it continues to be now, even during the course of the pandemic. Like I dropped a song with Fred the Godson, and he passed away from COVID. And but I finished I started my verse when he was alive, and I finished it when he was gone. The song's called Fit In, but I'm basically recollecting my experiences from the front lines, and I'm like expressing basically what I'm going through on a daily basis, but I'm doing it on the record. And just like the Trap City record that you heard, like that one, I step outside of the doctor shoes, and I'm just like, I wanted to rap from the point of view of just anybody out here not knowing what's going on. Is it the government? Is it what's going on? Like, why is it like this? Are they trying to kill us? At the end of the day, I'm stuck at home. I can't breathe, you know, like I can't make money. Like that concept is what led to the Trap City, and just kind of like touch it, just trying to connect with people who feel like that. I feel like there's a lot of people in the world that feel like that.